evening, everyone. This is our monthly live stream. Did we do one last month? I think we did. Losing track of time already. I was away for a while, but
yeah, I wasn't on it. That's for sure.
yeah. But Ian Beck says he blames Josh.
What?
He says I blame Josh.
Who? It barely said a word, and Ian is already blaming me. I hope his Spitfires lose. No sports.
You need a little flag. You need Homer's flag. Sports. At least playing tonight?
Yeah.
I think they are.
Yeah, they're playing.
Well, we just lost the Toronto contingent. They'll be watching that.
Well, we might have a little bit of competition tonight. So. But yeah, getting down to business, we do have a bunch of new announcements today. We've got 2 new HO freight cars. We've got new HO scale Canadian trailers. We've got an update for 2 other projects. We're updating the GN boxcar project, that's Bill's. And we also have, in addition to Jason's favorite, the turbo, his turbo, not my turbo. So we've got lots to talk about with that. We've got a whole bunch of order deadlines, which are coming up on Monday. We'll be talking about in a little bit, and then we will just answer some questions. Probably going to keep this to about an hour tonight, so we'll get through as much as we can and do some questions afterwards. So I guess we should jump right into it. What should we start with? Maybe with the trailers?
Sure, if you want to. You've got them there to pull up? I
do. Let me bring up I can start with the sales pack here. That's the flats. Should probably put the right sales pack in the background first. There we go. All right, this is our all new Canadian trailers in HO. You want to take it away, Dan?
Yeah, so I guess that's a render of all the rear shots. So it's pretty hard to tell, but there's 2 26-footers there and 3 26-footers and 2 45-footers. The 45-foots are the Trailmobile design and the 26-footers are the can car design.
Right down to the art there.
Yeah, that makes it a little easier to see. The 26-footer, we have both curbside door version and a solid side door. We're doing CP Rail, Smith Transport and Express, Simpsons, Reimer, Canada Cartage, CN Piggyback, CN Express Messenger, and we're doing undecorated versions as well, which will be fully assembled and painted silver.
And then the 45-foot Trailmobiles?
Yeah, again, they will come with either a curbside door or a solid side. Smith Transport again, CP Transport, Supertherm, Taggart, Canada Cartage, Piggyback, or CM Piggyback, sorry, CP Rail, Caravan, Wilson Truck Lines out of Toronto, and then again, undecorated versions in the silver.
And like we always say, keep in mind that these are preliminary artwork, so they're still be revised.
Change and revisions.
Yeah, exactly.
There's 3 trailer numbers in each version, so you can have multiples of 3 of them.
And these were pretty much in Canada. They were everywhere in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Well, the 45s came into Canada in the mid to late 70s, almost 10 years ahead of the US. So they're a late 70s onward trailer. The 26-footers were started being built around 1969, and they continued through the 70s. And most of those were withdrawn from service in the late 80s. And
am I correct that these have already been tooled?
Yes.
Okay, so we should see some samples pretty soon.
Yeah.
Or too long. Now that's actually pretty good, because that means we could probably have an order deadline. I don't know when, maybe late in the summer or the fall, depending on how quickly they finish all the revisions. But that hasn't been set yet, anyways. But we'll cross that bridge before too long. Probably sometime mid 2023, we'll have these arriving.
And if somebody's questioning, if you look at the 26-footers, you'll see that there's a landing foot on the nose of the trailer. This was quite common with the 26 footers. It would be put down on the ground when it was backed up to a loading dock and the tractor was removed. That allowed the forklift to go all the way to the front of the trailer without tipping it over.
Mhm.
What we've done is we've given you, the trailers will come with the landing gear in the up position for use on the piggyback flats, but you can also pop them off and put the legs down and park it as a piece of scenery next to a freight shed or a business.
And these were absolutely everywhere. I mean, anywhere in Canada you would have seen these.
Yep.
But they made them made their way into the States as well.
I don't ever recall seeing there. I mean, they had short pup trailers like this in the States, but I don't ever remember seeing the Canadian ones down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the trailers. And on top of that, let's see if I can reshare this in a sec. We have matching flat cars, both CN and CP. I'll share that very quickly here. Find the right button. Oh, I don't want to see that.
Good.
Let me try that again. Always good to hit the wrong button when you're trying to share a document here. That's better, much better.
There we go.
Yep, so these are the Canadian piggyback flats, and we have both the CP prototype specific version and the CN version as well.
Yeah, now both railroads had multiple versions. For CN, we picked the Vancouver Iron and Equipment Works cars that were built in 1966, I believe. And they had 283 of these cars with double ACF knockdown hitches on them. Those cars would later be rebuilt in 1976, and the second hitch was removed for the longer trailers when the 45s and 48s started to come into use. And they lasted well into the 80s. CP ordered theirs from Marine Industries Limited in Quebec in 72, and they got about 300 of these cars. And again, they went through major rebuilding programs where they lost the second hitch. CP went as far as putting container pedestals on them and turning them into container on flat cars as well.
There's the renders there. That's both
Yep.
the CN and the CP car.
And you can see in the renders, it'll have a full photo etched deck plate material where the trailers ride. You'll get two versions of the hitch, one in the up position, one in the down. That way, the cars are significantly different from each other, being two different builders, but they serve the same purposes.
And there's the paint schemes. Pretty simple when it comes to paint schemes, but we're also including undecorated versions as well, if you want to do your own.
Yeah.
Now, are there different versions of these that we can do in the future as well?
Yeah, well, eventually my plan is if these sell well enough, we'll go back and do the single hitch versions and whatnot. We've made the tooling modular enough that we can do that.
Okay, excellent. Another, yeah, this is another kind of really highly requested car, or both of these are highly requested. There's not a lot available in terms of kind of Canadian TOFC equipment out there. So
Right.
this is something that everyone's going to want to have, probably several of, because running in a road service.
And just scroll back down there for a second, Jordan. I just noticed, I think we have the undecorated cars reversed in this picture.
Oh yeah, that's the CP
Yeah.
version. That's the
Yeah,
CP.
they're actually backwards there, guys. So just, we'll get that corrected.
Yeah. So that's the CP and the CN flats. We go to the next one. So we've got another freight car that we're announcing today. We'll bring that up in one sec. All right, so this one's this is another pretty exciting car. This is a kind of an essential freight car in the US. We've got the PCNF B70 series cars, the 69 class, 71 class, and 75 class. These were all built from around 72 through 74, 75. They're all built for Cotton Belt with the St. Louis Southwestern and SP in the three different classes. And they were pretty utilitarian. They were built for, well, it's a double door car. They were built mainly for lumber loading service or any kind of wood products, wrapped lumber loads, plywood. But you could also see them in other services as well. And they ran pretty much everywhere, and they're still around today. There's quite a few of them built, and you'd see them in large, there was such a large fleet, you'd see them in large consists pretty much anywhere, especially coming out of the Pacific Northwest. So this is actually a really neat car. We've done a couple of improvements over our previous B7 or B100 car. And there you can see all the different paint schemes. We've got different door versions. There's actually, I think, 4 different doors we're doing on these, if I'm not mistaken. Different forklift pockets on the door sides. There's a Superior door, a Youngstown door, and there's also kind of a later rebuild door. I don't think we're doing it on this run, but we're going to be doing that on a later version. And CN actually purchased a bunch of these too. They bought them used from SP in the I guess it was the late 80s, I believe, late 80s, early 90s, and they ran for quite a bit. So yeah, this is a really neat car. Both Cotton Belt and SP, and one of those essential cars. And oh, of course, the Golden West version. So most of these, or many of these, were rebuilt in the 90s in the Golden West program, and then later on after the merger, they got relabeled back or re-stenciled for SP and keeping their original road numbers. So that's another version we've done, kind of with the faded blue. So they're not in tooling yet, but we're probably going to finish up the drawings. There's still some updates that we need to do on these, but when do you think we get these into tooling? Probably in the fall, maybe later in the summer.
Sorry, I broke up there a little bit.
Oh, okay. No, we were just talking about tooling, whether, I guess we could probably get this in tooling by later in the summer or the fall, maybe.
Oh, easily. There's only a couple of minor corrections left I've got to do, and then they're essentially done.
All right, excellent. So that's pretty straightforward for that one. Yeah, that's that. What do we got next? We're kind of trying to go through these a little bit quicker than we normally do, but I go over to the update on the Great Northern boxcars. Dig that out here. Yeah, so share this. So when we announced the GM boxcars earlier, I guess was that last month? Last month or earlier in the spring?
Earlier in the spring, I believe.
Yeah, we've got an update on the Big Sky Blue cars. So these were modernized in the 1960s, around 67. And when they did that, a lot of them, they took the roof walks off, they cut the ladders down, and they went through a pretty thorough modernizing. So on the Big Sky Blue cars, we are doing those modifications now. We hadn't initially announced that, but that will be part of all of these cars as they went through the rebuild program. That's a little bit of an update on that. And the other thing, and this is again going back to Jason's favorite stuff, if I can find it here.
Doctor Who memorabilia?
Yeah, okay. So we have a new version of his favorite, the Turbo. This is an exclusive for Heartland Hobby. It's the 1971 tour train that went around all around the US. This is an exclusive for Heartland. You can order this through any hobby shop. Just have your shop get in touch with their Heartland representative and place the order. These will be coming at the same time as the rest of the turbos, so probably middle of next year. I believe these are they're doing the tooling revisions on these right now and some of the updates. So hopefully we'll have a sample before too long. But this was a really neat train. This was they were trying to kind of show off the new technology of the turbos, and it was right when Amtrak was getting off the ground. So they sent this around the country to as a promotion. All right. So that's all the new announcements. We do have a whole bunch of order deadlines coming up too. So that's next Monday, the 16th of May. So we've got the HO scale M420s, that's the CN version. So the BC Rail versions and the PNWs and whatnot, those were all earlier this year. But the CN versions, that's the rebuilds, that is coming up.
You want to show them the photos of
Sure.
the production?
I'm going to start with the sales back, just get on that on the screen while I look at everything else up there. Dan, I'll let you take that away while I dig these photos up.
Yeah, so here we're doing a run of the CN stripes in the 3500 series, which are the rebuilds with the knuckle buster door latches. Okay, Jordan. We're back. The rebuilt filter packs on it, the repiped air horn. And due to popular demand, we're lowering the vent along the roof from the first run. The sample shots you're going to see still show it in the higher position, but that will be corrected before the model comes out. We've also added ditch lights to the front of these. So they'll have LEDs mounted directly in the housings on the deck. So they'll be nice and bright. We're doing CN North America in the two schemes, the small noodle and the large noodle, Minnesota Commercial, and the Oils Creek and Titusville Railroad. And that is the unit that we actually scanned, 3D scanned for the prototype and their model. So that's the reason we're doing that one.
And excuse me, we've got the pictures ready here. So these are the first kind of shots of the updated tooling.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of things that that need to be kind of cleaned up on these, but you can see.
So you can see the knuckle dusters on the doors.
Yeah.
The paper air filters, you can actually see the filter behind the wire mesh screen in the front. And then you can actually, yeah, if you zoom in on it, looks pretty cool with the paper in there. And then down below, we added the retention tank on the back of the fuel tank. Now, for this sample, the factory used trucks that they already had on hand from the first run. That's why they have the bearing caps on it. The rebuilds will have the open bearing cap on them.
Here you see the ditch lights, a little bit fuzzy, but
Sorry?
a little bit fuzzy, but you can see them on the, deck there.
Working ditch lights there, yeah.
Other side.
Mm-hmm.
That's not quite right, but either way. So yeah, the order deadline for these is this is coming up on Monday. There's that. There is the we've got the slumber coach. I don't know if I have that information up here already, but oh, you've got it right there. There you go.
The one and only pre-production sample that we've got right now. Currently not sitting entirely on the frame, so you can see the interior. But I've been doing some further testing on the lighting board to see why it's not working. So, well, it works. It just decides to heat up like a stove, which is definitely not good. It's one of the lighting board in this, because there's an LED for each room. It has the most SMDs on a lighting board that we've ever done. So it's kind of a little bit of new territory, and just to make sure that it actually works correctly.
So you can see the lights in the windows there. Again, that's going to be toned down a little bit. And we've got lots of interesting road names. The Amtrak Phase 1, we're doing a Phase 3 painted version. A lot of the original owners like B&O, Missouri Pacific. We've got what else have we got here? New York Central. They were called the sleeper coaches. There's a couple of BN cars. They didn't last very long, but BN actually put their new logo on at least two cars that we were able to find. Plus, we're doing the original Northern Pacific cars. There were some additional ones that NP picked up. I think, was that some of the former Mopac and B&O cars, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe that's what it was.
Yeah. And we're also doing a painted but unlettered version. And these, of course, all come with the same stainless steel finish that we've used on our RDCs and all our previous Bud-built cars. This is a really neat car. It was a small fleet. They only built 18. And 4 of them, the ones for CB&Q, were almost totally unique in a lot of ways, but they lasted and they really got around. So a neat car for pretty much any passenger train. You can pretty much throw them on there. So that's the slumber coach. We also have, just go over this quickly, it's the county cars, the New Haven county cars. Bill's not here today, so he could probably talk a little more about those, but we'll just very quickly go over these if you're a New Haven fan. So this is the county cars. They're very similar, part of the same fleet as the previous, like the parlor cars, the 8600 series coaches, and the dining cars that we did for the New Haven in the past. There's 2 of the samples. There's several different interiors and different configurations. And lots of paint schemes as well. So you've got the original New Haven with the skirts. You have the McGinnis with the skirts removed. We're also doing Penn Central and the Amtrak version. So a number of these made their way to Amtrak and lasted through the 70s before finally being retired. They actually, these were common in Southern Ontario when they were running the Niagara Rainbow. They were a regular kind of feature of that train. I think that came off early 80s there when it was converted to Amfleet cars, but something that is a regular sight in the old Canada Southern. And what am I missing here? We got another order deadline, don't we? Am I forgetting one? Don't everyone speak up at the same time.
You're leading this.
I know, I'm doing most of it.
I did my part.
I know. I'm probably forgetting something, but that's okay.
We could script this a little better, you know?
Yeah, I know.
What's a script?
All right, let's do some questions then. Oh, there's a regular GP40 TC. When is the GP40 TC coming out?
When I get my way.
I think when we all get our way. There's only one person standing in the way of a GP40 TC.
Yeah, the guy that needs it.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of people requesting our GM RTS buses.
Yeah, that ain't happening. I fought for that.
Buses.
I fought for that one. Jason will not allow it.
Also, I just forgot. Yes, the M420 is June, not July, or not May. I'm getting all those too many order deadlines mixed up. So if that's June for that one. But yes. What else have we got here? Time frame on the E8s. I know they were working on the Amtrak ones. They're getting pretty close, but they're probably going to be mid to late summer maybe.
Don't we have a photo of the anniversary one?
We have a photo of the box.
Yeah, of it in the box and the.
Let me see if I can dig that up here. I know Bill was showing that off this morning.
Yeah.
On the project here. Oh, that's not the right one. Dig around. Factory visits, maybe. Oh, I don't know where it is. It's probably somewhere in here, but not sure. Anyways, we did see the first look at did have a first look at the boxes for the Amtrak 4316s, and that's really neat. It's kind of a wooden case with a neat little plaque on the front of it. Okay, what else have we got? People asking for S scale. Jeremy likes S scale.
He went N scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you went the wrong way.
Didn't he have laser eye surgery? Now he can actually see N scale, so that's why.
Exactly. D10s are in production. They probably won't be out till the end of the year, though. Just keep checking back on our product delivery schedule. Maybe I should do my regular plug and remember my own. Get my own order deadlines in order here. I'll share that quickly. Yep, so there's the delivery schedule. I think this was fairly recently updated. So that's a pretty good view of where everything stands. Yes, there's the order deadlines. I swapped I was getting the second run of Horizons backwards with the M420s. So just the U25B and the Horizons are this month, the M420s are next month. But it was good to see those samples though. And then there's everything else. Yep, there's the D10. So it's looking like they'll probably be towards the end of the year, probably fall, probably closer to Christmas. But they're still early in the production phase on that.
You might want to remind everybody the F-59s are shipping.
Yep, so the
Show it in
F-59s,
stores. Yeah.
yep, the F-59s are going out right now. We've also got the N-scale buses, which, N-scale stuff here. N-scale buses just went out the door.
And the Caprices.
Yep, and the Caprices went out as well. They're all kind of shipping at the same time here. Still just have the artwork on there, but put some photos up sooner rather than later. And of course, there's the Caprices. Well, these should be hitting stores kind of any day now. I know that they were getting, I think most of them have gone out the door. They'll make their way through the distributors and get into stores probably the next week or two. And then I think we have the first batch of bi-levels. The Metrolink cars are coming June, I believe, late May or early June.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think there's one shipment right now that's, I think it just landed on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's been sitting in Vancouver for a while. It's the shipping nightmare, which seems to be continuing. It actually landed in Vancouver like a week or two ago. It's just been waiting to be offloaded and transported across the country. So the Metrolink cars will be here soonish. Everything else will be later this year. So all the other road names and the undecorated versions that we've announced will be probably mid-summer, depending on, again, how long it takes to ship them across the ocean and whatnot. Okay, maybe we should go to some questions then. Find one here. Dan, what are the specific errors on the flats and trailers?
Pardon?
For the flats and trailers, what would the specific errors be on those?
The CN cars were built in '68, and the version we're doing is as delivered, so it ran to 1976 when they did the major rebuild on them. So our cars are good for 68 to 77, 76, 77. And CP's cars were built in 72, I believe it was. And they went through several major rebuilds, late 70s through the 80s. So the car, as we're doing it, is good for early 70s to early 80s, basically in there.
And similarly with the trailers, we've got a bunch of different paint schemes announced, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that we'll be saving for the next runs. There was, I don't know how many, 2 or 3 dozen different paint.
Oh, okay. There's years of different runs of trailers coming.
Yeah, we could do a run every couple of years or so.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
Oh yeah, for sure. People asking for E44s. Well, we talk about that a lot.
I know that's on Bill's list.
Yeah. Now that the EB5s are out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people asking for modern vehicles, cars and trucks. Definitely.
We'll be able to help them out in that in the future.
No, I've got a few that I want to do, and so do you. Bill wants some older vehicles as well. He's hoping to get some more 40s and 50s cars that haven't been done.
Yeah, he'd be happy with a horse and buggy too.
What, Bill?
Yeah. He's modeling the O&W for crying out loud.
Well, isn't he modeling later in that era though? Just before they pulled it up?
I don't know. I don't know if he went back or if he is at the end of it.
Even then, vehicles wouldn't have been too common. You still have a lot of horse and buggy up in the hills.
Yeah.
Exactly. Josh, do you think they'll be shrinking the bi-level cars to N scale?
Maybe someday.
You get a lot of people asking for those. We do actually have a bunch of N scale stuff in the works.
Yeah, there's going to be a few things I think people will be surprised about.
Yeah, it's just the timing of everything. It's kind of like everything, once it's done, it's going to be like 2 or 3 things all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't forgotten the N-scalers.
No. And that being said, in the meantime, we have a lot of stuff coming. The B100, the N-scale B100 box cars, they're actually pretty far along in production. I think they're almost done, actually.
Mhm.
I think they're leaving the factory in June. So that'll be around in the summer. And is it the N-scale tank cars that are on the way right now?
Yeah, the GP20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on their way.
So they should be around probably later in the spring, early summer as well. So there's lots of N-scale stuff coming. It's just been kind of a little bit slow for new stuff lately, but we do have stuff we're working on, which is good. What else do we get here? People asking for more MBTA stuff. Metro bi-levels.
People seem to ask for those a lot.
Yeah, they've been appearing a lot in the comment sections.
I don't know. It's a pretty close tie between GP40 TCs and Metro bi-levels.
No, TC's all the way.
Oh, I know. I don't disagree, but I'm just saying the voices for Metro bi-levels are starting to outweigh the other.
Well, I can never go back to Chicago now.
They know your face.
Well, you're out for the fall trip.
Yeah. Are you going to do any truck cabs to go with your trailers?
Maybe. I want to.
A lot of people asking for N-scale stuff. So we'll see what happens. What else can we go over? I guess. Oh yeah, I should probably bring up the. I'll bring up the Horizons because I didn't. It's the one thing I didn't go over. So we've got the second release of Horizons. The first run was very, very successful. So we've got the second run coming out.
How hard would it be to show the Santa Fe PA sample photos?
I can do that. Here's what I'll do. I'll put this up for a minute. And Josh, I'll let you talk about that.
Sure.
And then I will look up some PA photos.
So for the most part, our second run of Horizon cars, same tooling, same paint schemes. The only difference is we're offering this time the ADA coaches as built. These were slightly different on the exterior. Instead of one small window on the one end of the car, you had small windows on both ends. This was just to allow for additional space for the ADA seating and an expanded washroom, if I'm not mistaken. We're doing all the paint schemes from the first run except for the early narrow striped phase 3. So you got the wideband phase 3, you got phase 4, phase 6. We're also not doing the California cars this time. We've already done that run.
I think we covered all of the road numbers for the California Horizon Dinettes as well.
We did. There was only the 3. And fingers crossed, when we do a third run of these, hopefully we'll be able to introduce phase 7.
Yeah.
Once that starts to show up.
And if anyone's asking why we're not doing the coaches to go with the California Horizon Dinettes, it's those coaches are totally different. They were former NJT Aero, former EMU rebuilds, so they're significantly different.
Yeah, they go by the nickname Comet 1Bs, but they're nothing like a standard Comet car.
Yeah. But yeah, the order deadline for this is coming up on Monday. And they've already done pretty well, so we're excited with that. And that's that new tooling for the ADA coach, which it's nice to have that. We've pretty much covered almost all of the different Horizon varieties at this point. That's neat to see. So let me switch over. I've got the PA. First look at the PA production sample. Share that here. And we can go through some of the other PA photos as well. There's a first look at the Santa Fe PA ones.
Be impressive.
Oh yeah, very nice.
That's pretty.
We've used
Bill knew what he was doing.
He gets a gold star. But we've used the stainless steel finish that we use on a lot of our Bud cars. We've done on the majority of the body, while the trucks are silver and the pilots are silver, which is a little bit different than the rest. But these turned out really nicely. You've got the antenna kind of rack, I guess you want to call it, on the top there with that can style antenna, horns, a different vent work, separate grab irons, fully operating headlight package and everything.
This is the later version with the cut-in MU
Yes.
cables, which has never been done before, I believe.
Yep. And then in a future run, we'll go back and do the original as delivered versions of these. Not sure if that's going to be a second or third run, but we will get to those eventually. We do have to start planning the second one. I know Bill was excited to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of paint schemes we haven't done yet. Another side view.
And correct me if I'm wrong, those side number boards, those are illuminated.
Those
Yes.
are, yes.
Yeah.
Good look at the nose there. All the safety labeling and whatnot on the rear. There's the B unit. This is the first time I've shown the Bs. And so the other one, so there's Rio Grande. This is kind of the four stripe, four black stripe version. This is kind of a early 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't that what they call the bumblebee?
Something like that. I'm not too familiar with some of the Rio Grande paint schemes, but probably one of the more colorful ones anyway. Look at the rear, 3/4 shot from the rear. New Haven. This is as delivered, I believe.
Yeah.
Backup light there. This is a really neat scheme. This is the nickel plate Bluebird scheme. And I think we showed this before on Facebook, but this is the, can't remember if we did or not now, but this is the SP with the full plow and everything. So SP had several different versions. They did several orders in, over a number of years. These are the later ones that had a whole bunch of interesting detail. You've got the icicle breakers on the roof for going through tunnels. Lots of very unique detail. All the cabling receptacles and whatnot on the nose, cut into the nose. And yeah, this was a really neat project. We had a lot of help from a lot of the SP guys. I know Bob Zink was helping Bill with this all along. It's even got that unique backup light and, just above the grab iron on the rear. Now these are shipping probably mid-year. I think they're pretty close to leaving the factory. So probably a few months time, give or take. As long as they don't get stuck in a port somewhere for 3 months. So hopefully we'll have those before the fall. Here's another look at the rear of the B unit. Yeah, those turned out really nicely. There's still a few that we haven't seen yet. There's the Lehigh Valley as delivered variation that we've done, and I think a couple others that we just haven't seen samples of. The D&H we haven't seen yet. I think they're just working on the shells right now, which is in progress.
That should get the Herman brothers up tight and excited.
Yep. Union Pacific PA, definitely something we want to do on the next run. Yep, just lots of people happy to see the PAs. The power car, the PB power car that went on the ski train. I don't see us doing that because it's so significantly. It would be pretty much a total rebuild of the unit, but
Especially the frame. Because
yeah,
they
exactly.
put the Blomberg trucks underneath it.
There's some really good modelers though that we've seen have kind of built their own. Probably out of the lifelike models and stuff like that. There's some really neat versions that people have done out there. But yeah, doing all the unique details would be a pretty tall order. It's almost new tooling from the ground up for that.
We could sell one ACR version.
Yes, that's true. But even at that point, I think they'd significantly changed it just since its earlier years.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have that we could show photos of? I guess we could bring the Caprice photos up. I think I've shown these already, but now that they're shipping. I can
Have
show
we
you.
actually shown the go-karts?
Oh yeah, those.
Oh, yeah, those. Who's leading this thing anyway?
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
Hey, we resemble that.
Milos. Model photos.
At least he didn't start asking which one of us is Carly.
That's not Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
No,
Wrong show.
I know that.
Wrong era.
All right, Josh, this is yours. Go at it.
It's a go-car.
All right, folks, that's all for this week.
That's all. Have a good night.
That's all, folks.
Yep. This is a Series 1 GoCab car. These were unique as having no conductor's window, at least when built. And this is the as delivered appearance when they originally bought them. One of the telltale changes that happened over the years was the government of Ontario Transit logo under the bottom windows. That was eventually changed to just say Go Transit. And then you had additional warning labels around the doors. That'll be a version we will do in the future. One thing to note is the tinted green windows, which were very almost a trademark thing with the Go bi-levels. You didn't really notice them riding inside, but on the outside, you definitely saw that green tint. And excuse me, I don't know if a different angle shows it, but we've also decorated the interior with the correct colors, including the trademark orange walls. That's a great shot showing the see-through steps for the doors.
And the fan at the top.
Fan at the top, yeah. And you can also see there's a bit of discoloration on the ends of the roof. That is actually a non-skid paint surface for workers working around the air conditioner.
We've got the lift rings there. You can see the fan detail. That's really neat how they've been able to replicate that. It looks like there's actually a fan back there. Mm-hmm. Some of that detail for it, which is really neat.
And a whole lot of rivets.
Oh yeah, lots of rivets. Nice gasket detail, the rubber gasket detail on the windows. Separate grab irons, of course.
Now, what's coming with these, Josh? A 21-pin plug for the sound?
So as delivered, they have a DC only plug. So when you run these on DC power, the lights are directional. Included in the packaging, in a poly bag, there is a DCC plug. So if you put that in, you can then use your wand to control the direction of the lights. Or you can go one step further and put in your own 21-pin decoder. We've already included I believe it's a double sugar cube speaker inside above the cab. And we also include a little instruction sheet which outlines what the different auxiliary outputs are for different lights. And so you can put in your own custom decoder.
Absolutely.
See, that looks like the picture I took.
Yep. So
Go-karts, got lots of photos of those. Let me see if I can get past them.
there's a 3-pack.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's unique with some of the systems, you'll note the MU connectors under the ends. There's the yellow and the red. Go only had the single connectors on either side. Some agencies doubled them up and ran a different MU system. I believe that's the Amtrak compatible system. But we've replicated that detail on whatever agency we've done in their paint scheme.
And we've also done the different class lights on the ends, right?
Yeah. Class lights are there with proper jewels. However, only the red ones operate. We didn't have enough functions to make everything work.
Okay.
Tri-rail, Florida Tri-rail.
Before anyone asks about the palm tree scheme, please, God, no.
Well, you'd have to do the art on that.
Yeah, if you can source us the original artwork, yes, we will do it. But otherwise, not happening. But an interesting thing with the tri-rail cars, go back one. These were essentially clones of the Go Transit cars because it wasn't believed that the system would succeed. And I believe there was some form of a clause where they would just sell the cars to Go Transit at the end of the trial. And how many years later are we? 30 some years, and they're still going.
As I recall, it was done as a workaround while there was a highway project in Florida. It was something like that, and it was supposed to be a temporary measure, and it just stuck. So, yeah.
Yep. We got West Coast Express. These are, I believe that's a Series 3 car. Yes, it's Series 3 cab car, which was part of the original order, and Series 4 coaches in the 3 packs. The difference being the Series 4 coaches have slightly larger windows. And these ones, we had a lot of help from a contact with West Coast Express for interior shots, graphics, and colors. And I think these turned out really, really nice. The one thing to note, the emergency light on the end, it does not function. Again, it's a limitation of the amount of outputs we'd have on the lighting board, as well as the different lightways within the cab area. But there you can see the different MU receptacle connections. This one has the double on either side.
Roof there, and there's that neat fan detail.
Yeah, fan detail, the slightly different textured anti-skid paint for walkways. The offset roof number, which I never understood why it wasn't centered. But that's the Series 4 coach. Slightly different paint too. The teal stripe that goes along on the cab cars, it's actually broken at the rivet joints, but not on the coaches.
Wonder why they did that.
Just so they didn't have to paint over rivets.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yep.
There's a good look at the underbody, all the detailing. And then the Trinity Railway Express. This has the e-bell on the roof too.
Yeah, some systems, some cab cars will come with an e-bell as an optional part if you want to change it out.
Which series of car was this?
That I believe is welded. That's a Series 3 or a Series 4. I think it's a 3. So a welded body. It's not a symmetrical appearance, so the washrooms on the bottom level.
It's turned out pretty nice. And like we said before, this will probably be arriving mid-summer if all works out. With the Metrolink cars coming a little bit sooner than that, probably, I'm going to say early June at this point, early to mid-June. May even be the end of May if they get out of the port in Vancouver. And AMT. Actually a neat scheme.
AMT Montreal.
Yep. We just need to do the F-59s in their later paint scheme to match up with it. We did the earlier version, which is kind of like a quasi Amtrak style paint scheme. So you can see all the emergency placards and whatnot on the roof there.
Yeah.
Done a nice job replicating that.
Yeah. Each agency almost had a different style for those emergency placards. Some, like the Go cars, don't have any because they didn't come with them when they were first delivered.
Yeah, there's a good look at the interior.
Yeah.
So that's
your speaker at the end.
Yeah. So that's the spin. There's the speakers on the end. And then you can also see all the SMDs in the light board above the cab. So you'd have your lightways built into the body shell above that. That I'm trying to figure out if that's, I think that might be a Metrolink one.
This is a West Coast Express, I think.
Is it West Coast? Okay. I know both of them had very similar color schemes on the inside.
Yeah.
You go to the other end, and then that's the dummy. That's the DCC dummy plug. So when you install that and you have it on your track, The default lighting, I believe, is trailing, so your red marker lights. But if you wave the wand over that, it will switch to your headlights, your ditch lights, and your number boards.
Another close look at the front end there. That's the cab, so you've got the engineer's seat and the control stand.
When are we doing the FP7 as a cab car for Go?
I was going to kit bash my own.
No. We have the ability.
Again, there's one guy that stands in the way of that. So
One guy that needs it.
yeah, exactly. And single level cars to go with them.
Mm-hmm. You're the commuter guy, Josh. Get on that.
All right.
Start twisting his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, bus people, I'm sticking to rail.
Or British buses. You like those.
Ugh.
You can do British bus over.
What was the comment I said? What was the comment I said earlier today? The one that I'm working on right now, doing the artwork for them, has more compound curves than the entire British motorway system. There's not a straight line on it. Even when you put artwork on it, it doesn't look right because the artwork is straight and the rest of the bus isn't.
You have any more questions there, Jordan?
That's about it, but I'm just going to do a very quick look at the Caprices, and then I think we'll probably call it a night in about 8 or 10 minutes. So I think we showed this last time, but just because they're shipping right now, shipping out to dealers, you get the Caprices and the Impalas. The variety,
Blues.
yeah, exactly. This is the Impala version with the dog dish hubcaps. It's got a unique grille, separate mirrors, separate parts of the light bar, full interior. Even has the separately applied headlight lenses. It's a clear plastic or GPBS part.
And you want to just mention that in each of the police cars, the finished ones, you do get the extra light bars and whatnot.
Yeah, you get extra light bars in the pack, so you can build whatever you want. Different lenses, so you can change the lens colors. You also have, we actually sell the police detail parts as a separate package, and you get 2 push bars. You get the spotlights. You get the spotlights if you want to add those on your car, and I think there's 3 or 4 different light bar variations.
I think it's 3.
Three versions.
Yep.
Yeah.
3, and you can do any combination of all blue, all red, or red and blue.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Caprice. So you've got different wheel covers, white wall tires. You've got the Caprice grille, which was different than the Impala grille. And the different bright work, the kick plates and chrome trim that you don't get on the Impalas. Kind of a higher spec version.
White wall tires.
Yep, yeah. And they are a real rubber tire. Quite nice. See if we've got a better picture of the, on the wagons, we've got the wire wheel covers. And they've done a really nice job. In fact, they did a great job replicating that look. There's the Impala Taxi. The police cruisers. CN Police. There's the kind of a black and white, kind of a generic black and white police cruiser, but that shows the push bar that you can add on the front there. Fire department. There we go. Here's the wagon, so you can see the neat wire wheels, the wood paneling. They turned out pretty nice. Yeah, so that's the cars. Let's see if we've got any more questions. Are the Caprices or Impalas sold out? No, I think we have extras of everything.
There's extras, yeah.
We brought in lots of extras, so there's no shortage. Do we have permission to make these? We do. We actually got a full license with GM. It was actually a quite in-depth process. We had to pretty much submit everything from designs to advertising. Even social media posts had to be approved by GM before we could post anything. But they've been pretty good about working with us on that. So that's been pretty neat. And we do have some other projects we're working on too, which will need some licensing, but it's in the pipeline. We'll see where that goes in the next few months. So we got maybe 1 or 2 more questions. We need more 70s autos. Yes, we do. else we got here? We're gonna do 2 more and then we'll call it a night, I think. While we're kind of on that, we do have some big product launches coming up next month. So stay tuned for that. Probably the first half of June, we have some interesting stuff coming, probably middle of the month. We get this question a lot about the lengthened F40C or the F40 PH-3s, the cats. It's a new body, it's a new chassis though, that's the only problem.
Oh yeah, that's
There'd be a lot of cost into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of a tough call on that, but and they were all kind of unique. Every railroad was a little bit different from one another. But there's definitely more room for F40s. There's that interesting new Chicago paint scheme, the Metro scheme that came out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Someone should do those one day.
And best of all, there's no fade on it.
Any hints on what's coming next month? You guys want to give any hints?
Nope.
Something powered, something not powered.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. More Canadian freight cars. Maybe.
Maybe.
Let's do one more, then we'll call it. Will the D10 tender trucks be available separately? That's actually, I'm not sure. I have to ask Bill about that one.
We did make the tender trucks from the Hudsons available.
Yeah.
We might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to run that by Bill next week
Mhm.
and see what he thinks. Oh yes, and the auto floods, they're getting pretty close. The HO auto floods should be leaving probably in June.
Yeah, we saw photos the other day of them in production.
Maybe I'll do that last thing before we go. I'll show the kind of a tease for the auto floods, and then we'll call it a night. I don't remember where they were.
Actually, Jordan, I think a good tease for our announcements in June.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of people across all of North America that will say my wallet is not safe.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of a something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. There's the HO auto floods. They're about ready for packaging. I think they're almost done assembly, so they should be ready to leave. There's the trucks there. Yeah, they should be ready to leave the factory. I'm guessing probably in June. First half. of June.
Roller bearing cap.
Yep, blue painted caps.
Factory must have loved him.
Oh yeah, wheels, lots of wheels.
Matt, what were you thinking?
There we go. Another look at them. And all that underbody detail. So yeah, that's the auto floods. And I think that's about where we're gonna call it a night tonight, 8 o'clock. Been a pretty long day, but been a good hour anyway. So we will be back probably in about a month with another live stream and a whole bunch of new announcements.
Alrighty.
All right, take care. We will see you next month.
Okay.
Bye now.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.